Hey guys, Sajady here. Hope you are doing really fantastic like I am. Again, thanks for being here. A lot of people watching throughout the world. And what I'd like you to do, just hit the subscribe button. That'd be fantastic. Hit the subscribe button, tell your friends, because it's a new wave of consciousness. And Moss on Sunday, what it's all about is about helping you understand how to think, not what to think. And then also on top of that, there's there's a lot of people that tell you what to think, how to think, what to think, and then if they're not thinking the way you should, you should cancel culture them, which is crazy because then we lose freedom. Talking about freedom, the background image here: freedom, unity, and truth. We did a fantastic hyper meditation to help transform the world. You can still join in. The recordings are just as powerful as the actual, and that's actually been proven, almost as powerful in lab tests that we've did with these physicists. My frequencies generated, they changed human DNA by about 300%. On a recording, it changed it by about 190%. So still pretty damn high compared to anything that's out there, machine wise or healer wise. Usually they were at about, say, 10 to 15%, if that. So there you go. So there's the logistics. We're going to get more and more science on how that works. Today is really key, is on how to start your healing journey. We're going to get into that, and then afterwards, like always, I'll show you what we all have as far as abilities on how to heal yourself at a deeper level by showing you my abilities, which I can scan you and analyze you just by especially if you're new. Again, say, "Hey, Moss, can you tell me what's wrong with me?" Or, "Hey, Moss, can you scan me? I'm new," and I'll go down the list and I'll tell you just like that on what the hell's going on with your life. I don't need to know anything about you. You can even use a fake name. It doesn't really matter. I don't care, because my abilities work very, very differently than, say, psychic abilities or intuition or anything like that. As a reminder, we all have these abilities, and that's what the new world paradigm, the new consciousness is about, elevating ourselves to that higher level so we can use our own potential of who we are. How many of you would want to use your own potential of who we are and not be, well, literally abducted by technology, by AI taking over us, by having some implants in our brain like Neuralink and to heal us? We all have those healing abilities on the inside, by the way. We can naturally heal ourselves. We can naturally have our own immunity. By the way, we don't need jabs or anything like that. All we have to do is connect to that higher intelligence that renders us here automatically in perfect shape and form if we go with the flow. I'm going to show you today on how to go with the flow. Right? It's nothing out there that is going to heal you. And I'm going to go through some of these things on what people have tried in the past to heal. But there's one thing that's missing in all these things that I'm going to show you. And there's one thing that's missing in, say, medical science, neuroscience, all that's missing. It's the key ingredient to healing and being completely abundant in anything that you do. And it's very, very different than what you'll think. I'll cover that. Plus, I'll give you the 3 things you need to truly heal yourself. Again, truly heal yourself, not by decades or some of you have been here. Some of you have been trying to heal yourself for 40, 50 years. It's a hell of a long time. It's about half your life. And you've joined XI, Exponential Intelligence, through the 18-day hyper meditations. By the way, it actually starts tomorrow. So the team, if you can put the link up on that, there's still time to join. If you want to transform your life in 18 days, just by listening. That's how powerful the frequencies are. And I would be courageous enough to say, because I've worked on hundreds of thousands of clients throughout hundreds of thousands of sessions, rapidly transforming individuals, again, through space-time technology, not through psychology, not through NLP, not through anything else that's out there. Literally space-time. It's how you render yourself here in space-time. And I know you think, this guy's crazy. How does space-time affect human consciousness potential possibilities for you. But yes, there's been enough research on that. And by the way, high-level scientists, especially in the U.S., in Russia, are actually studying this, and they're, I would say, a decade or two ahead of the Americans on that. The American scientists still think that 85% of your DNA is junk. Just out of curiosity, guys, why would an intelligent being, if you want to call it God or whatever, create 85% of your DNA and just go, well, that's just trash. I'll just throw it in there because I don't know what else I had to do with it, right? It's kind of crazy, right? I mean, super crazy. I mean, crazy. They thought that how many of you had your appendix taken out because they said that it was just something that we just don't use? Okay. This is very important, by the way. And I bring this out because of what the issue is happening today with all the vaccines, COVID, viruses, and all that. How many of you had taken your appendix out? I know I had mine taken out, and it was totally healthy. Unfortunately, I had surgery, and they go, while we're in there, we'll just take your appendix out too. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I had a hernia, so but that's what they did, because they didn't know. And it was just like, well, it's just going to cause problems in the future. Kind of crazy shit. Nowadays, you know what the appendix is for? The appendix is fucking amazing technology. The appendix is used to hold on to, say, cultures of your bacteria. Get that. Your appendix was used to create cultures or hold on to, say, cultures of your bacteria. So in case your bacteria got fucked up somehow, I don't know, through food, through poisoning, through antibiotics, whatever else that might be out there, your appendix would feed and start, again, nurturing your own bacteria and replenish you. That's why a lot of you have issues, especially with foods that have had a lot of pesticides, or what's that pesticide called? I forgot the pesticide name, but again, that comes up. Roundup, right? It's literally blended into your it's blended into the genetic makeup of the products that you're eating, the foods that you're eating. It eats away your system, by the way. So that's just those things that are coming up. It might affect a lot of you as I'm analyzing and scanning you. And that's why it's so beneficial for you guys to be here live. Because I'll read you, I'll analyze you. I might not pick on you specifically. We just don't have the time, especially as we're growing and growing. But it's really important for you to be on live, and you can listen to it again. But if you want me to analyze you real time, come on live and tell your friends about it, for those who don't believe. All right. Also, while we're on the topic here, kind of crazy, but a friend of mine was talking about, she was talking about, the craziness, or how far out the technology, or what I claim, and again, more and more science every day, what I claim is out there. And, and she goes, well, I was telling my friends about it, and they're like really strict Catholic. And again, there's nothing wrong with the Catholic religion, or maybe there is. I don't know. I'm not here to say yes, yay or nay. But she was telling her friends, and she's like, well, I don't believe that. I can't believe that space and time affects your, human DNA and consciousness and so on like that, But, and she's seen results. She's seen a ton of results. And she was telling her friend that it's like, well, you believe in a man that was nailed to the cross, and then 3 days later he was resurrected and he came back to save the world. And I'm not saying that story is true or wrong, but there's probably some science or logistics that kind of is probably not true in that. Although, again, Jesus is around and so on like that. I'm not here to, I'm not here to dispute anything like that. Although I do talk about it in the lecture series on how it really might have happened according to, say, science. It is pretty unbelievable, isn't it? Kind of crazy, isn't it? So we can believe in that, or we can believe in all other aspects, and we can go, well, that's just the way the shit is, and we take it as standard. Wearing masks, doing this and doing that. It's like, well, yeah, that's just normal. Abusing ourselves, killing our children, and all that. Well, shit, that's normal. But then we can't fathom, we can't believe that we actually have abilities deep inside us that can transform us almost like that if we were awakened. There's many individuals who've tapped into it already. It's nothing new. It's just that we have to wake up the masses for this. Let's go on to starting your healing journey. And I'm going to show you some of this, some of the research here, some of what other people are doing, because right now people are looking for a way to heal, especially through, the COVID issue, especially through more and more evidence is coming up on, say, what COVID does, what the vaccines does. A lot of people want to say reheal or heal to a higher level because of the outcomes or because of the situations they've gotten themselves into. I'm going to go ahead and show you this I just put in self-healing on YouTube. Okay. Self-healing, and a lot of things come up. I'm just going to go through some of these concepts, and I can analyze anything and anybody through my future vision by what we all have, by the way. As a note, I also teach people, especially corporations, future vision, and they can literally manifest or create a more, say, focused trajectory and bring down the time it takes for research and development. And it's more accurate than, say, scientific studies and all that, and you might go, well, how can that be? Well, scientific studies don't account for all the variables. This is more like computer simulation, which is getting closer to future vision, but we have the ability internally to create, say, simulations of ourselves. So my abilities work on, say, probabilities on where you are now compared to where you could be, depending on what, say, consciousness or which step you take next. That's how my abilities work. This, all about self-healing, a wild medicinal plant everyone should know. Okay, is it bullshit? Is it real? And that's what we're here for. Again, I'm not telling you what to think, but I'm teaching you how to think. So does that work? Absolutely, it works. There are medicines, plant medicines, and all that that happen to be that'll work for you. But why doesn't it work all the time? Okay, a lot of people will use this and they go, "Wow, it works really well," and then a lot of people will use it and it's like, "Shit, it didn't work." Right? How many of you have been there, right? Something that's worked for somebody and you tried, it's like, well, nothing. Why? Why is that? Why are there exceptions to the rule? Because we didn't go to a higher level. There's a key component in you that's missing, and I'll bring that up for you. In fact, in a deep state meditation for you, get your body to heal yourself. Again, and most of these individuals come from a space where they've been, say, damaged or hurt or ill in the past. And they've learned how to, say, circumvent their situation, but they didn't quite learn how to get rid of it completely. Okay? That's the key. They circumvented it, buried it, but they didn't quite learn how to get rid of it completely. Like a lot of the addiction patterns, right? People go to a center, healing center, or they go to a center, they take medications, they do whatever, they go through therapies, 12-step and all that. But what do? What happens? They're still addicted. They still have that underlying pattern. Again, they're circumventing the underlying pattern that still exists. How do you get rid of that underlying pattern? How do you get rid of it so much that you don't even pass it on to your children? And even if you have children already, your children's makeup has transformed or shifted as you've shifted. And that's true, guys. And please, those individuals who please comment on what's happened with you with XI. as you've shifted even your bodily structure, you've moved away from, say, your parents, right? On how they age, your body structure has changed, your brain structure has changed, even your facial features, so maybe even your eye color has changed. Again, totally removing yourself from your parents' hereditary or genetic makeup. Again, I don't claim to be a scientist, but there's more and more mounting evidence that we can change your genetic makeup, your DNA, literally. And again, we're going to do some more studies on that. If you're interested, comment in. But again, note in or comment in on you've changed radically from your parents. And then if you have kids, as you've changed, your kids have changed as well. That's the kind of level. And how do we get to that level? I'm going to be talking about that right now. This one, handsome guy. Start your healing journey. This one, the love frequency. Yes, fantastic. Does love heal? Absolutely. But here's the key. What's your definition of love? If your definition of love is abuse, right? And people go, well, that's not a definition of love. Sure it is. A lot of you run and hundreds of thousands of client sessions. I've seen almost everything, although some of you tend to surprise me because you're so far out there. And again, as you come in, you start to heal yourself with XI where nobody else could. What happens is that back in the day, right, you attached abuse or emptiness or lack of attention to love, right? You weren't getting any attention. You got abused, and that was the only time that you felt love or connected. And then later on, you've created this equation that says, hey, you know what? In order for me to be loved, I have to say, create trauma around myself or be abused or be shortchanged or not accept myself. How many of you run that pattern? So in this case, the love frequency not going to help you that much unless you redefine love. So does that help? Absolutely, it does. But you have to change your definition of love, and that's what it's all about. Self-healing, Indonesia. Not sure what that's about. I'm not going to scan everything. Love yourself and heal your body, mind, and soul. Same thing. But how do you love yourself? Look at your relationships. A lot of you, again, shortchange yourself in relationships, or you get shortchanged. If you don't have anybody outside of you or any events or situations to say shortchange you, you're going to shortchange yourself. You're going to abuse yourself on the inside. Kind of crazy, but how many of you do that? The little weed with powerful benefits, those things work, but they're an accelerant. Okay. So I urge you, those individuals who do plant medicines, the rage is ayahuasca, guys, don't do it unless you are understanding of who you are. By the way, I talk about this on why young athletes. Have you heard this epidemic? It's crazy. It's going to be coming up soon on why young athletes just totally pass out and then die on the field. Why does that happen? Right? It's an accelerant. I'm not saying they're taking plant medicines. It just came to mind. But the key is the same. Underneath, if you're lost and you're trying to find yourself through plant medicines, those individuals try to find themselves through sports. That's the only difference. If you try to find yourself through plant medicine, it won't help you. It's an accelerant. It magnifies. It's a magnifier. Okay. It allows you, and some of you go, well, I found myself. Well, there was underlying causes on why you found yourself, but long term, again, you'll dwindle back to your old self. So again, plant medicines, especially ayahuasca, highly effective, but you don't have to go through all that bullshit. Have you heard some of the ayahuasca journeys? Fuck, they're spewing stuff out from all ends. It's kind of crazy. You don't have to go through that stuff, guys. We can go into deep state HyperMeditations and get the same effect, actually, with a lot more grace. Anyway, those things, plants, so on like that, are magnifiers. So wherever you are, if you're lost, if you're feeling lost, you'll feel really good because it's new to you, but then over time, you'll feel more lost. And I explain that on why young athletes are keeling over. This one, energy cleanse, know your home. energies from the house, absolutely. Again, there are, say, physical frequencies and then non-physical frequencies that affect you. But the key is like, how do you protect yourself? How do you enhance yourself from, say, those energies? So one, you don't have to keep, say, constantly, say, cleaning, purifying yourself, right? If you're around other people, and there's a ton of people, unfortunately, healthcare workers. The reason why a lot of you or a lot of those individuals are healthcare workers, it's because you need somebody to define who you are. You're that burden taker. There's nothing wrong with being a healthcare worker. But again, what you do to help people is like, the more people I help, the more I'm going to feel good about myself. But unfortunately, most individuals who are healthcare workers, what do? You hold on to other people's garbage, and then it destroys you. And then if you're really sensitive to people, like many of you are, if you're really sensitive to people, say that a loved one has cancer, chances are you'll start to create or render cancer. And people go, well, that's just hereditary. Dad had it, great granddad had it, and so on. And then that means, so that sets the stage, by the way, that sets the stage to go, when you're a kid, your parents are dying of cancer or whatever it might be, or even when you're older, it's like, shit, my parent was 60, got cancer, he died 5 years later. It implants a seed in your thought, in your brain. Actually, not just in your brain. That's the initial step. It goes so much because it's impacted you, because it's a death. It implants that identity, that consciousness, that cellular memory in your cells. You start to go, hey, when I'm 60, I'm going to start getting cancers or issues similar to that. It happens all the time. And then science go, well, it's just genetics. It's really not. We've changed the course of genetics, right? Yeah, of course it is genetics. You're absolutely true. But do you have to follow their footsteps? You don't. More and more XI evidence is saying that you don't have to. You can radically change how you age. By the way, how many people think that they have to age like their parents? You don't have to. You can become ageless. It's not about aging younger. You can literally become ageless. Okay. This is really interesting. The most powerful way to start your healing journey with Joe Dispenza. I love the guy, and Jay Shetty. I love both of them. They've got a lot of great content, but what are they missing? Well, the key is that they can't edit they're under the underlying frequencies like XI. Now, I'm not cutting them down. Okay. Again, whether it's Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza, Jay Shetty, and many other beautiful individuals who are out there to help people. But the XI, why is XI, exponential intelligence, or being exponentially intelligent, is different than any other of those? Because this is a precursor. This is a catalyst, basically. This is a foundation. Any of those other modalities do not get to the level of XI. In fact, there are many students from Joe Dispenza, from Tony Robbins, from all these modalities, from research institutes that go, hey, we can get you to do this and this and this, your body. How many of you have done that, right? And you're still suffering with the issue. You come into XI and then it's like resolves a lot faster. Or I heard this as well. They've done XI and they go, hey, Moss, what do you think of this Joe Dispenza retreat? I go, fuck, it's going to be fantastic. You're probably going to be the star student. And Joe's going to go, how the hell did he change so fast? Well, the key is that the underlying infrastructure of your cellular, your genetic makeup is cleaned out. It's cleaned out. And then what Joe does, fantastic, fantastic technology on the consciousness, how to direct your brain, so on like that, to help you, again, accelerate your healing journey. I don't do what Joe does. I don't do what Tony or Jay, or I don't know what Jay actually does, but I think he's more of he pulls people in, doesn't he? He doesn't have gifts or abilities of his own, from what I'm saying. Yeah. Anyway, kind of regressing. Let's take a deep breath in. And do you guys want to know how Joe Dispenza healed himself? He had I don't know, some kind of neck or some kind of injury, right? Do you know how he really healed himself? He doesn't even know, although he refers to it all the time. And again, I love the guy. Um, but the key is, and I'll tell you in just a second how he heals himself, or how he healed himself. And that's the technology that he's grasping for. Not quite there. So, but he's created a lot of, say, fantastic mechanisms, just like a lot of these people. Again, Joe Dispenza, Tony Robbins, Deepak Chopra, even my favorite, what's his name? Eckhart Tolle or Tolle, I don't know how to, whichever one. Again, fantastic, but the depth, XI is the only thing that'll create, say, a solid foundation for you. Okay. So Joe Dispenza, we'll talk about, and there's many more. Oh, here's one. And we'll come back to Joe. Neuroscientists reveal how to completely heal your body and mind. Well, neuroscience, so that basically means it's in your brain chemistry or logic and so on like that. It's not. It's not. You have to go, your physical form, your conscious mind, all that is here. You have to go to a deeper level. Right? You have to transcend to the realm of space-time on how you render or how you design or how you've designed basically your life blueprint. So here's the key, your life blueprint. We change your life blueprint. It sets the stage for whatever you do at a physical level, like neuroscience, medical, whatever things, treatments that you do, Joe Dispenza, motivation, so on like that. The key is, if this isn't fixed, step one isn't fixed, this will take a hell of a long time. And that's why many of you who've done other things hasn't worked out as well as they claim. This is the reason why. And then you get, say physical transformation, and then you start to change dramatically. I'm 60 years old, by the way, turning 61. My blood type or my blood age is about 25. Okay. Other aspects, body fat, I think I'm at 11, 12%. Again, it's the healthiest I've ever been, most vibrant I've ever been in my whole life, because I've gotten rid of all the baggage as well. It's not just physical, but emotional, mental, financial. So let's take a deep breath in. I love Alan Watts, guys. He's really, really good. He's really, really fantastic. But again, he observes what I'm in, what I can take you. So he's like looking out, he's inside the house, he's looking outside and going, oh, that's how it's done. So he's an observer. Again, really beautiful, and he's very accurate, by the way. The Healing Self with Deepak Chopra, again, fantastic individual, but he's still aging. Normally, he still has some of the health issues that his family has had. So again, not at a complete self-healing level. All right, let's take a deep breath in, and I'll guide you into all right. I'll guide you into a deep state. And I'll show you three things. I'll not only tell you three things, I'll help you install them so you automatically run from them. And that's really the key, or the science behind exponential intelligence. Let's put this away. Let's get serious, get comfortable, take a breath in. Another breath in again. So I observe the group. I'll not only tell you. There we go. Notice your chest. Does that help you connect to the mastermind? The mastermind, not of the world, because that's really fucked up. The mastermind of those individuals that go, yeah, you know what? I really want a better life. I really want to heal myself here. That consciousness. So you can pick, you can get aided by those other individuals who are on the same journey as you, right? You don't have to do it all alone. You don't have to recreate the wheel. Breath in again. Notice how you're feeling off the bat. It's not a meditation. I didn't change your state. I didn't change your brain physiology, although that's an after effect of putting you into another simulation of who you are. There we go. By the way, it's not magic. It's not wizardry. We all have these abilities. I've just learned how to use or just learn how to hone them. Notice how you're feeling. Breath in. I'm not moving energy. For those who are new, it's got nothing to do with this realm. That's why you can listen to this and feel the same experience. Breath in. Asking yourself, how can I connect to my purest possible self? Again, how can I connect to my purest possible self? And then notice what ails you. Notice what popped up. There's probably something different than what you think it was. Pay attention to what showed up for you. Okay? I helped you with that. So don't go back on your mind scale and go, no, it's really this. No, 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 no. See what showed up for you, for those who felt that. Breath in again. Right. Again, notice your breath. Breathe in. Get another breath in. Notice whatever ails you. Notice what shows up for you. Let's go to deeper levels. Just observe. We'll set that aside. Still continue to work on whatever ails you. Okay. Again, you're seeing the underlying reason on what you think actually ails you, and that's why it might be different. Okay. These are the underlying reasons. So I work on algorithms or patterns, not specific instances of your issues. That way we can eliminate it completely. Wonderful breath in again. There we go. One. Although it sounds crazy, like I said, especially if you're new, just give it a try. Your life isn't working the way it is anyway. Try something different. Not going to cost you anything. Spatial referencing. We teach this in the 18-day HyperMeditations coming up. Spatial reference. I'll give you a simple clue. Look around you. Right now, look around you. Open your eyes, take a breath in, look and observe. The window's in front of me. Observe the window or whatever's in front of you. Notice any part of your body, like window's there, my collarbone is here. Be as specific as you can, especially if you're new, right? The door is over there. My earlobe, my right earlobe is over here. Sounds crazy. Just work with me. I know I'm crazy. My methods might be questionable. The effects never are. So that's the first thing. Just observe, especially if you have kids that are ADD, ADHD, and so on. Try this method on them. You'll see how brilliant or bright they become. Breath in again. If you keep doing that, do one more. Do you notice how you pull yourself even now? Did you notice how you got present? By the way, this is the secret of becoming present, not mindfulness. This is about spatial referencing. That makes you present. But notice how you pulled yourself together and everything was brighter. I can feel the masses, by the way. How did that happen? Keep doing it. The next thing you do is observe what happens in your thoughts. Because there's going to, as soon as you become aware that you're in the present moment, you're going to see a lot of things show up for you. I know this is just a 5-minute meta healing, hyper meditation, but it's so powerful that it'll start to dislodge those things. So sometimes if you don't feel good, or if you're seeing those memories that you want to bury, don't react to them. I'm just asking you to observe. Please, for your own benefit, just observe. Don't trust your emotions at this stage. Breath in again. Notice your spine and your neck. We'll work on those individuals who have neck issues. Not a doctor. I don't claim anything. Let's see what happens. Right? Just notice your neck, your upper back. We'll go deeper. Your mid back, your lower back. We'll adjust some spines. So one, observe. Observe your thoughts, observe your surroundings, observe your interaction. Just like a scientist, if there was somebody following you with a notepad, okay? It's like, I did this, and they're just writing down what you're going through. Second is pause. No thoughts, just pause and observe. Notice your spine, especially for those who have issues. There we go. Second aspect, like I said, is pause. Don't follow your emotions. Observe what, I'm not saying bury your emotions. I'm just saying observe your emotions, but don't react to them. I mean, you can cry and so on like that, but don't go, I'm going to go do this because I'm in a negative state and then I'm going to regret it later on. Yeah, don't do that. Okay. Don't follow your heart. Don't follow your intuition. Observe where your heart is getting drawn towards. Observe where your intuition is pulling you towards or pushing you towards. Again, just observe. Don't react. Observe, pause, and then expect. Expect that a new definition will show up. Expect that you will be guided from a very different, say, level. You'll see, it's like, well, how can I tell the difference? You'll see that it's a very different, say, consciousness, or even, the stream of thought that'll show through you, because it's not going to be in your head. It's going to be more of a body driven. It's like you're going to get pulled into the right thing, the right doctor, the right whatever that you might need or not need. Breath in again. I know that sounds crazy, but this is about connecting to your higher intelligence. There we go. Notice how you're feeling. Are you more centered? There you go. I'll continue to work on you as a group. Okay. So it's not just about those individuals that I'm going to analyze or scan. if you have similar issues as those individuals on the live scan and even on the recording, it'll feel like I'm working on you as well because you're encapsulated within this group. Okay. So again, it works. I'd like you to be here live if you can. It's more potent. But then if you want to listen to it or give it to your friends, like, fuck, this guy's crazy. He changed my back just by his frequencies. I think it's very, very different frequencies. It's not energy or anything like that. Again, it is the origin of, say, frequencies that I work with. Think of it that way, right? All right. Oh, many of you are thinking, so how did Joe Dispenza really heal himself? Again, fantastic guy, fantastic concepts. I love his videos on how he explains things. XI is just a deeper version or deeper understanding of what he sees. So Joe Dispenza, on how he healed himself, and I will tell you this right away, right after this. I have to read this before this is a disclaimer. This is Sajady with Exponential Intelligence. Sunday, March 6th, 2022. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't diagnose or heal. I can scan your frequency signature and tell you what I see. So please consult your doctor or seek professional advice. Right? Do your own research. And then make your own judgment on it. If you ask to be scanned today, you are agreeing that we may use your session on any public media to help inspire others. So remember, if you don't want us to share your experience, your session, then don't ask to be scanned. It's very simple. And then all contents are protected by copyright. You may not use our content in any way, shape, or form for any purpose without my written permission. And that's the key. It's kind of a nice compliment, but more and more people are, say, copying our verbiage, our language, which is nice. Again, it's a compliment of success, but you want to be mindful. Okay, there are people, individuals who start to practice XI in their process. We're not backing up anybody because they need to get to a certain level. By the way, so if somebody goes, "Yeah, I practice XI," again. They might be good, they might be bad, but I'm just saying we're not, condoning or backing anybody up. So, all right. If you want to know who's good or bad doing XI, you can always contact us. So, right. All right. So, are you guys ready for a scan? Let's see. A lot of new people here. Joe Dispenza, by the way, his story goes that, again, severe spinal injuries, very, very close to his grandfather, or it could be a grandmother, very close to his grandmother that might have, say, crossed over when he was really, really young. Really, say, connected to Joe, really loved Joe. Even if Joe doesn't remember, again, they're very close. And a lot of times that happens, a grandparent, right? Close to death. They love that young child so much because that's the vibrancy of life that they wish that they had now. Okay. They cross over, they fall into that vibrancy. And this time, sometimes that grandparent like steps in, and then that child, coincidentally, I don't know if it's coincidence or not, that child starts to resonate frequencies just like the grandparent that died. In this scenario, though, grandparent was awake enough. It has a feminine, that grandparent has a feminine tinge. So it could be a masculine, a grandfather that has a very sensitive tinge. So I can't tell, say, sexes, I can tell frequencies. Okay. And that's how I can tell, as a side note, if you're, real, gay, heterosexual, lesbian, or anything in between. It's your frequency that dictates that, not your thoughts or consciousness or society. But that's a side note. But anyway, so coming back to Joe, grandfather loved him, hangs out with him, right? All this time, he has a severe injury. He goes, "Hey, Joe, I can show you how to heal yourself." And then so he gets into deep states, very deep states, especially with maybe some of the medication that he's, that Joe used. for the pain and all that, right? Because he's been bedridden. And then he falls into deep states. Grandfather watches over him so he doesn't say transcend or basically die or cross over or go into a coma. The grandfather pulls him into, say, that unconscious or timeless realm, the origin of frequencies, which I work at. It's like, hey, let me pull you into this space. You can start to self-heal yourself. And this is how you do it. And then he comes back into his physical form. Okay. And then it's the conscious process, and he feels, say, the physical, say, transitions as his psychology starts to change. And it's like, oh, that's how he does it. Right. And he's written that down, and he's created a very successful business. Again, I love his work. But the underlying factor is that he transcended into, say, the space of origin of frequencies. Grandfather helped him out, and it sounds crazy, but you can think of it as a higher consciousness, where he tapped into, say, that grandfather's consciousness, however you want to see it. Again, taps in, goes into the higher realms of consciousness, and then starts to, say, disconnect from time and space, starts to connect to your limitless self, your healing genie that's inside you. We all have this healing genie, by the way. It's called your spirit, but I don't like to use the word spirit. It's defined. It's very ill-defined. I'd like to use your timeless self or your limitless self. Goes back up, transcends back down, starts to change his psychology, starts to understand the mechanics of how it all works. And then again, he's created a great, say, seminar or process. Goes back and forth, and then that's how it magically, say, transformed. By the way, Anita Murjani, beautiful woman, stage 4 cancer, I believe, transcended through a near-death accident. Boom, came back, healed herself. Right? That's the key. That's the key that I use. But you don't have to die. I died twice to connect with those abilities. I just take you into those higher realms. Again, origin of frequencies, bring you back. And this is where your magic genie, if you want to call it, your self-healing abilities start to, say, expand. Okay? I'm not a medical doctor or anything like that. I don't claim to cure you, and neither should medical doctors or anything, because they can't. And this is what we do best, right? This is what XI does best, by the way. And then we'll get into working on individuals. Again, I don't claim to cure you. Medicine shouldn't either. Medical doctors shouldn't either, because they can't. What you need to do is to awaken your inner healing abilities. That's what I do best. And then whatever modality that you use, again, medical treatment or anything else will help you benefit. But if you don't wake up your natural healing components of who you are, the grander version, if you don't wake that up, nothing will help. And many of you have experienced that already. All right. I think I may have ADHD. This is Nikki. Not necessarily. Again, I'm not reading you. I'm not analyzing you or diagnosing you. But basically, Nikki, you're always afraid of who you are. You've, like, say, been pushed around, or you weren't comfortable, in your environment when you were young. So it's like, where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go to feel safe? So is that ADHD? It could be. But if you felt safe, you wouldn't have ADHD. You would actually have great abilities to go, shit, these are the possibilities of where I could go. So it'd be a lot more efficient for you. Again, the 18-day HyperMeditations would be really fantastic for you coming up tomorrow, actually. If you can do that. Just give me 1 second. A lot of things actually coming up after this, and you can join in if my team can. If my team can I'll give you a gift for those guys, for you all on Moss on Sunday. It's just for the people who signed up. The first welcome or orientation coming up right after this. So if you're interested on the 18-day hyper meditations and know what it's about, again, it's a free call. You can connect whether you join or not. It's all up to you. It doesn't really matter. But that's coming up right after this. Yeah, that's coming up right after this if you're interested in, a deeper understanding. So again, there you go, Nikki. You don't have ADHD. A lot of your kids probably don't have ADHD. They just don't know how to render themselves here because of, say, disoriented environments here. So Jay Shetty, like Tony Robbins, absorbs others' problems. Yes, Tony, fantastic individual, or not. I'm not here to say, but what he does is how he's got such fantastic willpower that's like, come on board, I'll grab your problems, and I can pull you forward. And that's why he's got a lot of his health issues that he's always trying to recover from. Um, so actually wrote him a note. I was at one of his seminars, fantastic seminar, and told him exactly, hey, Tony, this is what's going on. And then a few months later, he goes, yeah, this is what's going on. But obviously didn't attribute it to me. Kind of crazy. A lot of you don't do that either. I have the migraine medi. Need to listen to it today. Let's share contents. Let's see. Oh, this one, Jojo. I'm new. What do you read about me? Well, Jojo, you seem to be, and again, I could be wrong, but you seem to be, say, a pleaser type. Although you might think you're very independent or you're of your own, but if nobody say goes your way, then you'll go, oh, all right, I'll lose my identity and follow you, and that's the problem. So you're always trying to say create happiness by say reflecting. So you're a reflecting type individual where your thoughts, your desires, your dreams, and so on like that are only congruent with you or necessary or worthy if somebody else goes along with you, but you just haven't found anybody else that goes along with you, so you kind of like wait for yourself, right? And then go, well, I'll just put myself aside and then go follow some other dreams. So that's why I say you're a pleaser. And then later on, it's like, shit, I'm not myself, so again, you need to be more consistent, and I'm not just analyzing you. I'm just helping you come inwards. So you don't reflect on other people's happiness to make you happy. You go inwards. Okay. And that's what I'm helping you. So I'm not just analyzing you all. And then those individuals who are similar to JoJo, it's basically like it allows you to come through into you. And as you come inwards, you start reflecting your grandness, your abilities, and so on that you've squelched over the years. So again, it's a great opportunity to strengthen your inner self, and don't worry about what other people think. And then you'll start to be happy on the inside, and then you'll actually make you'll make people happy on the outside. This one, how about 74-year vegan, looks 30? Yep. But it's not about the veganism. It's literally what happens there. And that's the key, people go, well, yeah, they look really young, and it's because they attribute it to something physical. And it could be, you got to eat healthy and so on. Is it vegan? Is it not? I'm not saying it is, and I'm not saying it's not, but just reading, tapping into that individual. Have you ever noticed that there's a lot of older individuals that look younger, right? And they might destroy themselves. They don't eat healthy, but they look younger. Or they would go, hey, I look younger, and I better start eating healthy, and so on like that. So which comes first, the chicken or in the egg? In this case, 30 years old, that person at about 25, 26 years of age, what's happened is something devastating happened, got locked in time. And then they never grew. So they repeated basically 28 years of age over and over and over again. So you stay younger. This is where, a lot of kids, their parents get divorced, in their teen years or younger, and then they stay younger as they age. So they look younger, but they're emotionally unstable because they're younger. They didn't grow. They repeat again the same age, or they slow down the process of aging. So that's the underlying reason. We use that in the frequency spas. There's a frequency spa coming up. We use that in the frequency spas. We use that in reverse aging. How many of you have done that or looked that way, where it's like, hey, I'm aging 70. I go, well, hey, let's reset your, say, biological clock, your genetic clock, to about 15, 20 years younger, and you start looking younger, right? So that's how that works, by the way. Okay. So again, don't associate things, observe, not just attach significance to something just because of coincidence. And by the way, if I read you, please comment back on how accurate. Moss, could you comment on Louise Hay? I love her voice. And Wayne Dyer. Yeah, Louise Hay, she's really fantastic. She's she's helped millions of people, just like Wayne Dyer, millions of people, really fantastic. So what they've gone through is a lot of damage or a lot of abuse, or they've caused a lot of abuse, like Wayne Dyer. Okay. And what's happened is that it's like, hey, I got to get out of here. So they keep searching for getting out of here. And, both of them have pulled or discovered or uncovered or unearthed magnificent kernels of wisdom on how to improve yourself, how to, heal yourself, and so on like that. But the key is, well, Louise Hay, I think she was okay. She seems like she attracts abusive men, and she still did till her dying day, or she couldn't get out of it. So that pattern wasn't disconnected for her. Again, so she was always running away from abuse, so to speak, till her dying day. And then Wayne Dyer, well, still had a lot of health issues. He still had a lot of abuse issues and a lot of sexual issues and addiction issues. So again, although he was, hey, we're supposed to be like this is the way we should be, internally, he wasn't like that. So he wasn't practicing what he preached, but his content really, really good, really, really good information on that. He just needed to go to a deeper level. That's what I'm talking about. You need to go to the deeper level, clean that out, and that content is golden. So I talked about Joe Dispenza. You guys are interested on other people. We'll do a show on, if you want me to read, other people like Valera, this Abdi, so on like that. We can talk about that. Let's see. Is it J Sellers? See me, scan me too. Yeah. So is it J? Yeah. J.I. Sellers. Yeah. So there's almost like a chip on your shoulder that you can never get away from. It's like, and that chip is like, well, why? And it becomes an issue for you, because it's like, shit, why am I not good enough? That's basically the whole theme of your whole life. It's like, why am I not good enough? And you might be successful, you might be not. It seems like you are. You do a lot of good things. There's a lot of good ideas, concepts. You put yourself out there and so on like that. But inside, it's like, fuck, I'm not good enough. And again, you keep pushing the edge. So basically, when you were a child, 10, 11, 10, 11, no, 10, 11, 12, it kind of happened, it kind of happened along the way, or it got bigger. And it's like there's one moment that's like, shit, I'm never going to be good enough. And you just keep, again, you've held that chip. Or like you did everything and then somebody else was picked. It's like, what the fuck? So that, again, that kind of scenario or something similar to that. So no matter what you do, you're always proving yourself that you're always, no matter how old you are, you're always proving yourself that you should have had this, whatever, back in the day. That day is gone. So you need to let it go. I can help you with that, and I'll help you with it right now. Take a breath in. So that pain and that hurt, okay? Because doing something really good over here is not going to heal you or, fulfill that, say, void here. So there's always a void in yourself. Breath in, notice your heart space, hon, and right in your solar plex. Let's help you go back to that moment in time, and there could be several. And then you get to love yourself no matter what happened. And then you can let go of that time. And then when you're succeeding now, you can really own it. You can deserve it. Nobody can take it away from you. Nobody can criticize you, because that's another thing. A lot of people criticize you no matter what you do. It's like, well, it's not good enough, or it could have been done better, that kind of feeling. If nobody's there, you do that to yourself. So all those things start to say crumble for you, and you go, shit, I am good. I am worthy. By the way, this pattern at extreme levels would be like an Anthony Bourdain type situation. Okay? So can't wait to join the 18 days. Yeah, it's going to be really good. This one, Moss, how can we avoid feeling tired? This is from Jolly Holly. For you, you have to stop supporting other people. It seems like you're supporting, I don't know, an older parent or somebody older, and you've just gotten into that, and you might have married somebody or connected, or you have a relationship with somebody older than you, and then you're supporting their pattern. And as you awaken, you're probably going to get irritated with individuals. By the way, so I was just working on you to separate. It's like, oh, I feel why I'm getting so tired, because I'm carrying other people's burdens. So again, you need to stand up, and I was helping you with that. This one is Marina. Hi, Moss, please scan my progress. Thank you. You're actually doing really well. Kind of like the last individual. You're doing really well, but the difference is that you're on top of it. Before, you used to have people just come into you, almost like poison you, so to speak, where you get suffocated. You might have even had anxiety attacks as people, and you go, shit, I don't know what's wrong. I feel safe here, or whatever, or it's not, you couldn't figure out why you would get just anxiety attacks, because you'd be like sitting somewhere, and all of a sudden, something happens to you. And then it's like, well, my environment feels safe. What the hell's going on? But it's all these people's frequencies pushing into you. So again, you might not like crowds and so on like that. But what you've done with XI is like, hey, I'm solid. I have a solid boundary around me. So now what I'm helping you do is go, let's make that boundary even further away. All right. So you have this way, you have room to breathe. You have room to analyze other people's frequencies. You can observe that person. It's like, oh, that person is like X, Y, and Z. Okay. So you already know what they're like even before they talk to you. So again, a really great place to be for you. Again, I would do the 18 days to get you really accelerated, and you'd be strong enough to do the accelerated, by the way. Wow, I see the room brighter. Let's see. This one is Sam Use, Y-U-S. Hi, Moss, please scan me. Thank you. So in your neck, you have neck issues or back of the head issues. And again, it might be physical, but it's almost like another personality or identity that just looks over you and then criticizes you. That makes sense to you? So it's always, again, somebody breathing down your neck. It's that kind of scenario. And it's like you're never alone. You're always being, say, criticized or micromanaged at some level, or you might experience that you micromanage your life. Everything has to be almost like to an anal level. You would have to be say perfect, or perfectionism, or something that's not just right would bother you, right? Or it's like, shit, I got to get this done, before I move on, that kind of deal. Because basically what that's about, Sam, is that you get stuck in time. Somebody say does, or maybe back in the day, always like looking over you or telling you what to do. So now you can't really think for yourself. You've created another version. Say your mom, okay, a feminine frequency. Again, it could be your dad or somebody else. always told you, always like watched out for you. And again, it could be out of love. I'm not saying bad or good or abuse. I'm just saying it could be out of love, just always watching you, always observing you. It's like, no, don't do that. Let me do it for you, or this is the way you should think, this is the way you should do. Even like dress your clothes, it's like, don't wear that, from what I'm seeing, right? So again, your decisions were not yours, almost all your decisions, whoever that was. And now it's like the growing years, 7 to 14, where you're supposed to solidify your own judgment, how to think, and so on. That was never there. So you replaced it by whoever this person. So now, as you've aged, it's like that person has to exist for you to say, survive. So it's outside of you. So that's why, again, so do some XI will help you separate. And what I was helping you with is like, and can you separate that? Yes, you can. But the key is, if they're integrated and they're a component of you, you would not survive if I deleted it for you. So what I'm helping you do now is like, you are you. I'm separating that other identity that you've created. It's not them, by the way. It's not like they're coming into you, their presences, or entities, or you might think you've got entities and all that shit, but you don't. It's just that you've created this imaginary being so strongly, tells you what to do outside of yourself. So anyway, I'm separating and creating distance between the two, so you can tell how you flip back and forth. And then what you'll do is that, since you need the information here, it's kind of like a cell phone, right? You just bought your new cell phone, which is you. Your old cell phone has all the data, images, and files, whatever that you need. You have to transfer some of those files that are needed, not all, but some of those files that are needed, into you, and then you can throw that old phone away. Same thing with here. You can throw that identity away, and then again, it creates that separation, and you will feel like you. Your back will feel a lot better as well. So again, comment in on that. I would suggest a private session, to say finish that off. Talk about Joe Dispenza. Let's see, Putin, please. Ooh, Putin. I think I should start a channel or something, maybe on Telegram, on just reading people. But Putin, he he's become very successful. Most individuals in Russia, I mean, he's transformed Russia around. They practice, say, the business or democracy a hell of a lot better, actually, than the U.S. And he's just basically going, hey, fuck off, America. We did it right. Right, because look at your people, look at my people. Again, a lot of, say, wealth, a lot of abundance in all classes, in most of the classes. Again, in Russia compared to America. By the way, America is like heading down because of the leadership, unfortunately. So he's got this ego. Obviously, it's like, hey, fuck, I did it. So, and yeah, unfortunately. And then there's also a connection with the US and Putin, because what you want to do, or what they do, is like, that power is sending higher. It's got momentum. A weaker power or weakening power is coming through. And then what do? They have no other solution. And I'm not saying America is causing the war on that, but basically Putin is taking advantage. It's like, look, and just showing their aggression, because he's, well, a bully, right? He's got to show off. Like, some guy has whatever. It's like, hey, look at my hot car, right? Trying to get women. Same thing with him. There's that scenario as well for him. Kind of crazy. But anyways, domination. So, and then that's how you attack a country that you really don't need. That's so old. That's so old habit, by the way. I did a global meditation just yesterday on that. You might want to check that out, on how to really, say, transform and heal the world through freedom, unity, and truth. So check that out for you. It's free for you. You just have to sign up for the newsletter. America is using that state. There's something there, though, between the two, and I can't say it right here. But America is using that state to rile people up, because unfortunately, one of the best ways to spur an economy and get it started is to start a war. So that's what it's about. This one, Moss, can you help Katie Meyer cross over, please? Yes. Let's take a breath in, whoever that is. So helping her cross over and then other people around you. This one says, my friend says that the state of the economy for many Russians is terrible. Yes, there is, just like the US, there's layers. Um, so, and that's the thing with Russia, the poor are even poorer, but then the middle class are even better. And then the higher class, there's so many wealthy individuals there as well. Yes, so there's a great separation, just like in the US and in any other, China as well, right? All right, guys, we can go on. Oh, one last thing, 18 days starts tomorrow. So if you're curious to know more about the 18 days, join us free here. And if the team can send a link on that, that'd be fantastic. Things coming up for you, personal optimization. It's on relationships. That's coming up on March 8th, how to really create an enhanced relationship, especially for yourself, that internal self. 18 days starts tomorrow. Frequency Spa on frequencies on aging, right? Helping you heal younger, or actually creating agelessness. Personal deprogramming, that's coming up Wednesday, March 30th. A lot of things coming up. Personal optimization is tonight, I believe. Yeah. They've been, yeah. So I think the link, there we go. Yeah, the link is on there if you want to join, and that's coming up, I think, right after this. All right, guys, notice what you notice, and then notice those details. Peace.